Hello and welcome to the Common Briefing Program, a part of the Common Geeking Program where each month we decide to break down what we think are the most important, interesting, or impactful headlines in geek news, talk to you a little bit about what we think is worth carrying away with you, keep you informed in sort of a relaxed way where you don't have to commit to it, and honestly, we kind of don't have to commit to it. It's all chill, so let's have a good time talking about some geek news. Yeah. My name is Colin. I tend to host these geeky affairs, and I'm joined by my regular old buddies who can introduce themselves because, again, this is not a high-effort affair right now.
Hi, I'm Jeff Leavitt. I am here. I don't have anything better to say. I avoided saying that I'm present because I've made that joke twice already by accident.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Hi, I'm Taeemul or Chowder, whichever you prefer. It's April 1st when this episode airs, so I will probably be hungry because it's Ramadan. Fun fact, Ramadan starts on April 1st.
Oh.
I will say Chowder.
Wait a minute. Does Ramadan actually start on April 1st, or is this like a prank?
It actually starts... No, it actually starts on April 1st, not a prank.
On April 1st, the Islamic community is going to get together and be like, April Fools, it starts tomorrow, get wrecked. Sorry you didn't eat all day.
I will say early on, before I knew you very well, Chowder, and we would hang out as a group, I think we started, one of the first times I hung out with you in a group setting was at Ramadan, and I wasn't keyed into your situation. So I was like, at 8 o'clock, you suddenly ate all the pizza, and I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah,
what is this guy doing?
Whenever we would hang out at my house, my fucking full cartons of goldfish were never safe when Chowder was on Ramadan.
It was just such a shocking behavior given that I had no context. Just sitting near the pizza all day, not touching it, and it just totally over my head. Once it was explained to me, I was like, this makes perfect sense.
This guy is really into a lot of cold pizza all at once.
I mean, honestly, cold pizza does hit different, but...
It does. It really does.
It does. Are you... Okay, well, here's a question, so I know if you guys are sociopaths. Do you prefer cold pizza to warm pizza?
No, absolutely not.
No.
Okay, I agree it hits different, but, it is a different food... But I don't know. That was a joke on 30 Rock that I heard them make cold pizzas better, and then that revealed the people in my life that believed that, and I sort of questioned a lot of my reality.
Yeah.
So I mean, okay. So addressing the April Fool's elephant. Everyone in our thread that provides news but refuses to record the show with us decided to dictate that we should do April Fool's pranks on the show. We have not prepared. Anything.
Forgot that it was going to be airing on April 1st until today, so I think we're the fools in this one. And
yeah, I also, vibe check for today, I'm a little grumpy. I had a very busy morning to work on a lot of stuff, and it got a little tedious. But that's fine, work can be hard sometimes. But I've told you I've done some freelance work for a Star Trek podcast that I really enjoy. And I was in my emails all morning corresponding with a client. Back and forth, 2 different people at this company. So I was in my emails. And then at noon, I get an email from that Star Trek podcast saying oh, don't worry, we got the edit covered. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? And there was a last minute hey, can you cover this? While I was asleep because it's different time zones, so that's fine. But I was in my email all morning. It was not in my inbox. I checked. It was not in my inbox. And then the reply saying that it's no longer on the table is what came to my inbox. So I've been in kind of a grumpy mood all day.
Wait. So you learned today that you were expected to edit something by finding out that you no longer had to do it? Is that what I'm to understand?
Not expected. They were offering me hey, can you cover this last minute edit? Which I totally can. I've done it for them before. And I love doing it. I think it's a super fun thing, and it's a challenge to do it on that timetable with I really enjoy it.
So you missed out on an opportunity that you did not know that you had, is what I'm...
Exactly, and I didn't find out until after, and it's because either Apple Mail or Gmail did something to me that I don't understand. So I'm very grumpy. Now, that is to say, I am a little too fatigued from today to really commit to an April Fool's bit. But if April Fool's bits manifest themselves in this episode, it might perk up my mood a bit. So I don't really know where I land on how to move forward just yet.
I guess we'll just have to see what happens. Yeah.
Do you think each of us could try to BS a story like 2 truths and a lie, and we got to figure out at the end which one's fake? I feel like we're too on the spot and we're not good enough improvisers.
Well, first, that doesn't fucking work because that requires having real stories that are really wild, which I do have a story that is pretty wild, but that it would only be between 2 because if I made up a third one, that would be another made up one. That's not how it works. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I wish I had the energy in the tank to commit to that kind of bit. Wait for the reveal at the end of the episode where we're joking. We're actually in great spirits and elaborate planners, and y'all are gonna your socks are gonna go flying off.
Joke's on you. All of our stories are fake because the world is a hologram.
It's been leading up to this moment. Yeah, I guess we can just sort of dive right in. I feel like this is gonna be a lighter one. Maybe if the month were a bit more dense, I would feel more inspired. But they're honestly kind of slim pickings, so I say let's just dive into it. Let's get through it. And if you prank me, I'll never know. As usual, I'm gonna go first. Because that's just what we do here, I guess. Again, effort is lower than usual today.
You don't have to justify it. Just start talking.
I don't know. I get accused of egotistical behavior a lot, rightfully so. So I occasionally like to check myself, but it does seem disingenuous when I try to check myself and can't come up with an excuse for it. It just, I'm like, oh, yes, that's what it is.
I love you, bud, but anybody. Talking first on a podcast is the least of your worries in terms of egotism.
Okay. So first things first, I want to talk about some Star Trek because Star Trek's happening. I try not to get too inside baseball about Star Trek on the show because like most of the stuff that's important is important within the community of Star Trek fans, and not everyone's part of that community. So their first big thing, Discovery season 4 ended. I thought it was a really nice ending to the season. Had a really good time with it. Star Trek Picard is going strong in season 2. Really liking season 2 of Picard, so I'm having fun with it. But I want to bring up 2 important cameos. 1, the most recent episode of Star Trek Picard as of this recording, 2 episodes ago as of its airing.
What episode is this?
Picard season 2 episode 4.
Oh.
This is
how am I that behind?
Pretty minor. I was only 2 out. So basically, this season is sort of reprising some of the motifs of a classic Star Trek film, Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, in which a future space turd says, I want to talk to some whales, and they have to fly back in time because the whales went extinct and save the humpback whales and bring them back to the future. Haha. And this episode directed by Back to the Future's Leah Thompson, so that's fun. But so Spock and Kirk and crew go back in time to San Francisco to steal some whales and fly them into the future. That's the plot of the movie.
You're talking about Star Trek 4?
Yeah, with the whales. This is the 1987? 6.
Yeah,
6 was
if they did that exact thing again in Picard, that would be wild.
It would be wild. I'm listening for Whale Song in the background of the music as an Easter egg. But we got a different Easter egg regarding music in this one, because while they're trying to bumblefuck their way around San Francisco, Kirk and Spock are riding a city bus, and there's this dude with like a pink mohawk and a stereo boombox blasting a song called I Hate You. And when Kirk asks him to turn it down, he flips him off, and then Spock knocks him out, and everyone on the bus applauds him. Just a fun little moment that Star Trek fans enjoy. I think that's a fun movie in general, but that's a moment that, like, as a kid, that stuck in my head. It's not a thing you think about very often until you're watching Star Trek Picard when 7 of 9 is on a Los Angeles bus in 2024, and the same actor 30-some-odd years later, with a mohawk and everything, a cover of the same song is screaming fantastic. It on the bus, and she says the same line, you can turn down that damn noise, and instead of flipping her off, he goes, I'm sorry, I just really like that song, clearly traumatized by the alien that knocked him out last time he did this. And great. I am so in love, like, as an Easter egg, it's fun, but I'm so in love with the idea that in 30 years, the only thing that has changed in this guy's life is that the bus he's riding is in LA instead of San Francisco. Nothing else is different. I I think that is such fun headcanon. It's just a fun little cameo. But again,
and he met two people from the future on two separate occasions.
And he has no idea. So I mourn for that guy, but I celebrate that guy. Kirk Thatcher had a lot of fun reprising that role. Good for him. I had a lot of fun watching it. That's sort of my inside baseball bit. The next cameo, I think, is legitimately newsworthy outside the context of Star Trek. Star Trek Discovery, Season 4. At the end of it, it's a lot of diplomatic stuff they're talking about. It's far in the future. Federation has fallen apart, and they're trying to put it back together, and they keep talking the whole season about the president of Earth. The president of Earth won't like this. They won't like that. I don't know what they're going to do. And so at the very, very end of the episode, it's not really a spoiler to the plot, but it is a spoiler for the moment. They're finally at Earth. They've averted the crisis of the season, allegedly, and they say, here's the president of Earth. And out steps Stacey Abrams, the president of Earth. And that was very surprising to a lot of people. Real-ass Stacey Abrams, Georgia politician, who, an avowed Trekkie, is now playing the president of Earth. It's not just like she shows up and walks around. She has like a scene, like several lines of dialogue with the main character.
That's wild.
Made a lot of headlines. She did a great little job in the cameo, but after what the season was kind of saying about crisis handling in general, it seemed very like on the nose in a way that I appreciated. That was like, all right, here's all the problems that we're criticizing. Here's how you fix it. Make this person president. And Star Trek has always had high-profile cameos. It's been happening for decades.
Was there was there any throwaway line like, politicians have been in my family for generations, blah, blah, blah.
No. They could have, I don't know if they could stretch. Star Trek is usually like 200 to 300 years away to the point where you could like kind of massage that joke, but this is allegedly like 1,200 years away. And
they did that shit in Doctor Who when they wanted to reuse an actor. They were just like, oh yeah, she does look like her. Must be her great 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 grandmother.
They are doing that in Star Trek Picard a lot, where they're casting Brent Spiner, and they've been doing this for decades also. Brent Spiner, who played Data, also plays every single member of the family of his creator, and it's happening again this season. But anyway, but no, the Stacey Abrams thing, it's something that I really enjoyed is, one, it got a lot of attention. A lot of people were like, holy shit, like this is a pretty cool cameo, and it totally speaks to the values of Star Trek. Hooray. I don't know if you know this, but there is one particular Star Trek fan out there who, A, has missed the point of the entire franchise, and B, did not enjoy this, and his name is Theodore Cruz. He posted a very frustrated tweet at one of his political rivals / targets appearing on one of his favorite franchises. And at this point, if he's watching up to Star Trek Discovery and does not jive with like the political bend of Star Trek, I'm not really sure what he's getting out of it. Really. But he tweeted like, what the hell is this?
I guess all the freaky alien sex.
Yeah. It was a lovely cameo that I think worked really well. And I think was, I don't know. I feel like Star Trek has been kind of in its own bubble for a few years, and in a way that it used to not be. And that's just kind of the nature of media now, where everything has its own bubble. So it felt good to see it break out, not just because it did something Star Trek-y, but because it connected to some other important things, if maybe in a superficial way. But that was sort of
it's a much more in-taste political cameo than Giuliani showing up on The Masked Singer.
Yeah, man. I'm wondering, has that episode aired?
Yeah, so like, I was kind of out of it for like most of your thing, Colin, because like, so like my mom walked in and I had the chronograph page opened, right? And she's like, what is that? And I'm like, it's the chronograph. When we record stuff, we all gotta clap at the same time to like sync up, yada yada. And she's like, oh, okay, I thought you were like looking at, and I'm like, looking at what? And it's like, and I'm like, did you think I was looking at pornog? And I'm like, what?
Do you think that I'm watching blue circles and you think that's porn? And also, I'm teleconferencing with people while enjoying pornography.
Did you think I was watching clock-based porn?
Oh my god!
That was just
anyway,
like such a surreal moment.
That's a little strange. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
That doesn't even like. Isn't Pornhub's whole thing like? I mean, their logo is orange. Like, does it look like chronograph in any sense, way, shape, or form?
I don't know, man. Man.
No. I mean, she probably doesn't know what Pornhub is. She was just thinking pornograph. So.
But she knows it's naked people and not clocks, though, right?
Yeah. I don't know
my
what was
god!
going through mom's head there.
All right. I don't have a whole lot more to go through. One or two other things. One, the Halo show debuted also on Paramount Plus, the streaming service built specifically for Colin Ketchen, featuring Halo, Sonic, and Star Trek. We also got a Sonic 2 trailer. Sonic 2 looks fun. I don't really have much to say on it. We'll see what happens when the movie comes out. But the Halo series came out, which we've known for a while. It does not follow the storyline of the games. It is set in an alternate timeline, so that kind of ruffled some feathers. What really ruffled some feathers is when the showrunner said the words, "We did not pay attention to the games." That upset people.
I mean, yeah, that would be kind of annoying, where it's like,
then make a different show, my man.
Having seen the show, I went in with stuff like that, and my complaints about the trailers, I went in pretty reserved.
I like the first
I
episode.
had a really good time with it. The first episode surprised me. Did things I did not expect, narratively, stylistically, that is very different from the games. But again, if you look at the games, it took them 6 games to give Master Chief a feeling. And I'm glad they didn't take 11 years to do that with the TV show. And they decided to do that pretty early on. But the show seems like it's off to a decent start. I think a lot of the fanboys that were like locked and loaded to be upset have gotten their shouting out, and it's kind of settling into everyone's like, this is all right. So we'll see where it goes. But I don't know. It seems a little more generic sci-fi than I'd like, a little less fun factor, but looks good, feels good. I like this guy's Master Chief, Pablo Schreiber, who I know as fucking Nikki Sabatka from The Wire, and I was just like, that scrawny fucking kid? But anyway. The other big thing that I wanted to bring up was something that happened with Destiny, because, I can't stop talking about Destiny. Bungie has a pretty generous policy for content creation where people can use pretty much anything they want as far as footage, music, assets from the game, as long as it doesn't comprise more than like 20% of the content, or it's not like feeding into something commentative or unique. But that is a pretty generous policy. Like, there are people who make their careers doing YouTube videos on Destiny, and like all their music is from the game soundtracks. And Bungie's like, that's cool. And there's been a lot of goodwill and trust there as these people build their careers. So it was kind of crazy a couple weeks ago when all of a sudden, videos started getting taken down.
Oh, no.
And there was a lot of bad will going on here. People were blaming Bungie. People were blaming Bungie's, one of their, the legal enforcement companies. I can't remember the name of it. But the community got pretty upset that suddenly it seemed like Bungie was reneging on their very generous policy, one that, again, has fostered a tremendous community. And things took a twist when Bungie tweeted out, "We're aware this is happening. It's also happening to our videos." So Bungie's own official Destiny videos are getting hit with YouTube takedowns.
Oh yeah, no, God. YouTube is really bad about takedowns because anyone can file a takedown, even if they don't own the property in question.
Yes.
So someone's just it's not.
Yes.
Yeah. No. Any fool can just start up an LLC and just start taking down videos. So who knows?
Like
that.
I don't even know if it's an appropriate thing to say, but that has the same energy for me as the fucking Texas bill that allows you to allows anyone to sue someone for getting an abortion or for performing an abortion.
I mean, it's okay. That may seem like a drastic comparison given the stakes of the two situations, but the mechanic is the same. There's something fundamentally flawed about an open tip line where like the people compulsorily follow the tips instead of just investigating them. They just work them like that. It's a broken system. And we finally got some clarity on the situation now that Bungie is filing a lawsuit against the people that have perpetrated this. And we don't know the defendant. Yeah, we don't know who it was. But there are two things in this lawsuit that I wanted to shout out. One is Bungie did actively critique YouTube and Google, like they spelled out the fact that like every single channel that Bungie, again, a company that just got bought for $3 billion, so it ain't pennies, like could not get YouTube systems to work. They could not get anything to go. They couldn't get the takedown strikes off their own videos removed, featuring their copyrighted content.
And you lose out on a lot of money from the time lost from the, like, even if it gets reinstated. Yeah,
it borks the algorithm for the video and everything. It's pretty bad for everybody who makes their living off of this stuff. So they're filing a lawsuit about that. They are really lighting up Google and YouTube. Apparently what had to happen is, I think it was Bungie's chief financial officer had to like reach out to Google executives to get traction on this thing. That is not the level of access you should need to solve a problem where, like Chowder said, any dumbass with an LLC, and let me tell you, it's not hard to make one, can just do that. And my favorite thing, and this is where I'm going to wrap up, is one of the last lines quoted in the lawsuit, which is, Bungie brings this action to recover for the Doe, like Jane Doe, defendants' tortious and illegal conduct. And frankly, to demonstrate to anyone else stupid enough to volunteer as a defendant by targeting Bungie's community for similar attack that they will be met by legal process. That felt like a particularly ballsy way to say, fuck off, don't do this. And I really enjoy that. So I think that whilst like damage has been done, money has been lost, and people have been hurt by this, once again, Bungie is handling it pretty fucking well.
I mean, it is gross though in general, right? Like this kind of stuff does happen on occasion to like, to smaller YouTube presences that don't have the, the push power of like Bungie as a company. So like, hopefully this will help push back against that trend in general and not just be treated as a one-off kind of thing. Cause there's been like 4 fucking adpocalypses from YouTube at this point.
Yeah, it seems pretty intentional.
For like a decade in some form or another, where it's like you got to fight tooth and nail to like
and I think it's
fend off your accuser, and your accuser has to do jack shit, and then YouTube and Google do fuck all.
All the burden is on the defendant and none is on the accuser. And I think that this is intentionally trying to make those situations a little easier in the future. I think that even though they're not suing YouTube, and who knows if they will in the future, again, in legal filings, like pretty blatantly saying YouTube sucks shit because of how they do this stuff. Like, it's not like it was difficult. They're like, YouTube failed in their legal filing. And I mean, like, if we're looking at size of company, Google versus Bungie, like, Google is much larger than Bungie. But still, I'm hoping that it pushes things in a pretty positive direction, much as most of my stories of Bungie have seemed to do lately with what all the nice shit they've been doing. But again, like, you're right, it happens all the time. So it speaks to the idea that, like, the creators that are part of this community, if it looks like Bungie is turning their back on them, it's like, oh, great, now it's just another fucking company fucking me over to protect their own interests. So I think that's why, like, so much of the community was so quick to be like, why are you doing this, Bungie? And I think that in terms of sentiment, they've handled this about as well as they can, given the fact that they had no idea that this was happening until it was too late.
I mean, honestly,
allegedly,
they had like the best excuse ever. We're getting fucked by this too. Like that was like
true.
Uno reverse.
Yeah,
except not on the audience, but like.
Yeah, it's actually all a conspiracy, because Bungie just decided to like people initially thought, Bungie decided to take down all these videos, and then when they saw it was so publicly panned, they started taking down their own videos and decided to shift the blame on YouTube.
Oh no, guys, look, it's happening to us too.
Yeah.
April Fools. All right, Jeff, what do you got?
All right, I've got a few interesting stories. A couple quick things. We got a trailer for the upcoming Miss Marvel show. Nothing in the trailer yet of Monica Monroe, or what's her name? Monica, is that her name? Monroe? What's her last name? Rambeau. Monica Rambeau, the girl from WandaVision, the woman from WandaVision, or Carol Danvers, but we'll see later. We got, I don't remember if I announced this last time or not because it was pretty early in the month, but we got a short little teaser trailer for the dub of the Digimon reboot that will be coming out later this year. So that's pretty cool. A couple of Transformers related things from last week, all related to BotBots, which if you're unfamiliar is... Yeah, a little subline of Transformers that are basically like, if you're familiar with like those little tiny collectible things like, Grocery Gang or, like Five Surprise or Mini Brands or stuff like that. It's kind of the Transformers version of that, where it's just like tiny little collectible Transformers that transform into like household objects. First of all, we got the announcement of BotBots Series 6, the next line of the toy line, which only is notable because the Series 6 was actually announced and showed off at Toy Fair in 2020, and then was very quietly just completely shelved presumably because of the pandemic and, the company having to, reprioritize what stuff they were putting out. So we just kind of didn't hear anything about it for a while. And with this new Series 6, it's not actually the same figures. So that Series 6 is pretty much canceled, and then this is the new one. Cool. Got some fun designs, and it kind of plays into a little bit with the other piece of BotBots news is the release of the BotBots show on Netflix. And if you haven't checked it out, it's really fun. I liked the BotBots show a whole lot. Colin, I don't know where you land vis-a-vis stupid cartoons, but Chowder, I think you'd like it a lot for sure. It was kind of notable to me that though it aired on the 25th, it was not popping up in any of the like new on Netflix shit, which I'm assuming is because it's like more of a kids show, so it might have been like on the main banner in the kids tab on Netflix. I don't know, but like all I know is like when the Transformers War for Cybertron series came out, that was like, top page on Netflix was like, oh, watch this, and that show was bad and this show was good, so people should actually watch this show. You don't have to be a kid to enjoy it. It's just a goofy little cartoon about a bunch of shopping mall products come to life and having goofy adventures. And it's obviously not serious or anything, but I think this is the best show in relation to Transformers that has come out in the past like 5 or 6 years. So I mean,
that's encouraging.
Yeah, no, I mean it was well made. The animation had some really fun quirks to it. The humor I thought was genuinely funny. Like there was a lot of really funny moments where one of the characters is trying to explain to the other characters about like human beings, and he's like, we have to avoid them at all cost, and the main characters turn into a bonsai tree, a flashlight, a plunger, a hamburger, and a soccer ball, and he's like, they try to eat hamburgers, they cut shrubs, they kick soccer balls. You don't even want to know what they do with plungers. And then the flashlight guy is like, what do they do with flashlights? And he's like, actually they just kind of hold them. And then he goes, I'd like to be held.
That does sound funny. That premise speaks to me much more deeply than most Transformers does.
Yeah, no, it's a really fun little cartoon, and it's silly, fun. It's goofy, but I had a great time with it. So that was really nice to see that.
Once I get my Netflix back, I might actually check that out. That sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, it was good. And then, all right, we're gonna move into my last piece of Transformers news, which is the wildest fucking shit I've heard in a long time. This was pretty much came out like this morning, so I haven't seen much pop out about it yet, and also because of what I'm going to explain here. There's some like sort of back channel shit. Like it's not actually been officially announced, but do you remember, I don't know, maybe a few months ago, maybe like a year, I don't fucking remember when this happened, but how I told you about that really expensive Transformers product that was like the not Unicron, but the Optimus Saber. No. The Optimus Prime that was like a piece of robotics that like auto transformed and had voice stuff, and it was showed off by Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes.
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a company that was occasionally Hasbro, like, you know, they'll license out the Transformers like name to other companies, and that was from a company called RoboSen. And they are making another company or another product officially licensed by Hasbro, or a series of products, I should say, that again, this has not been announced, but like sometimes we get like quote unquote like leaks from, you know, various sources that like usually are pretty true. So I'm confident that this is real, but it hasn't been like officially announced by Hasbro or anything. It's just showed up on like, you know, vendor listings, you know, by people. It's, trust me, it's like a thing that is verifiable. It's just not something that's been officially announced, but it's been raising a few eyebrows because the name of the product is Transformer. Wait, where is it? Sorry. Transformers 1-to-1 scale companion Optimus Prime.
No,
what? Sorry. Yeah, and
Are they making a Optimus Prime body pillow?
I think this must be a placeholder name because I've also seen it referred to as life size, so I'm assuming that what they mean by this is fucking like person height thing, not 1-to-1 scale, because that would be like 30 feet tall.
To a Mack truck.
Yeah. But okay.
Oh, I guess the part that's like made me go, what? Was the companion part. Was like, companion? What?
Yeah, so we're gonna get into that because this gets fucking wilder. No. So Optimus Prime is just one of them, but there's 4 that are announced, including Optimus Prime, Soundwave, RC, and Black Arachnia. And let me explain to you why those last 2 are really eyebrow-raising, considering what this product is described as. Transformers has always had kind of a dicey past with like having female representation in their shows, in terms of like the original cartoon. The original cast was like all male Transformers, and then eventually they started incorporating female Transformers, and the critique of the design is basically like, why do all the male Transformers get to be like whatever fucking shape and size, you know, but all the female Transformers basically look like human proportioned women with some robot parts on them.
Why do the giant robots have tits? Why do they have hips?
Exactly. Yeah, and usually when there's like this kind of like fucking, you know, stunt product or things like the previous Robosen project of the auto transforming Optimus Prime, they tend to pull from the same pool of like really iconic characters. There's like a, you know, legendary 7 characters. There's like Optimus Prime, Soundwave, Megatron, Starscream, Bumblebee, etc., right? Not often making that list would be characters like RC, who was one of the first female Transformers shown, or Black Arachnia, who is a very notable Beast Wars character. But the thing that is really concerning about this is like fucking, like when you look at RC and Black Arachnia's designs, they're like some of the fucking bustiest like Transformers characters, and they're being sold as life-size companion products.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, no. I guess the comedy of like Optimus Prime body pillow type thing is hilarious.
Yeah, right. So I don't.
Wouldn't inflatable Transformers just be balloon animals?
I don't know. But the other thing is, it's not like this is just like some, you know, like unnamed like company that's making. This is Robosen, which makes fucking like mechanical, like what's the word I'm fucking looking for? Like electronics. No, they make like the electronic Optimus Prime was like a feat of electronic engineering and shit like that. So there's like, okay, what electrical functions are these thing's going to have?
They vibrate.
And who is this for? So, yeah. This was the wildest.
Companion pieces or whatever.
So, yeah.
Christ
it just
alive.
raises too many questions.
Yeah.
That was my stories for the month. And that last one, that wildest one, I just have to say, April Fools, fuck you guys. Do you think I didn't plan ahead to this shit? I made that up. I've been planning this for months.
Are you serious?
Really? Oh
yeah,
my
I made
God.
that last story up entirely.
What? No! You said you didn't plan anything! This is... No! Hold on!
We've been played. We've been bamboozled. We've been smeckledorfed.
Hold on. You bastard. Google gives me nothing. How you did it? God fucking damn it. All right, Chowder.
First...
No, we're done. We're done. It's Chowder's turn now. I'm mad. No. Chowder, give me real news.
We found out what the obligatory April Fool's joke was going to do to Colin's mood. We weren't sure, but now we know it's absolute rage.
I was so... Yes, seriously. I got fucking pranked, Rebecca. I am composed. I am filled with anger. It is Chowder's turn now.
Story of my life.
Okay. So
Yeah, that was good.
all right. First thing, Bandcamp made an announcement saying that they are joining Epic Games. They don't explain, their update doesn't explain what that means, but it's pretty clear. Epic Games is buying out Bandcamp.
Yeah, that's rough.
And it's like, that's not good. That's just a furthering of like,
late stage capitalism, corporate consolidation.
Yeah, yeah. Everything is just pooling to
everything
a few
moving
big,
to the final shape.
Yeah, everything just pooling into like a few big media conglomerates. And two, the music industry is already fucked with like Spotify paying shit and like just everything.
You know what?
Like
you know what industry has figured out monetization better than the music industry? The gaming industry.
Yeah, no,
true.
Well, and like
easier to pirate a song than pirate a game.
Epic
at least
Games,
slightly.
they make Fortnite. You know, that thing that with all the gambling stuff in it. Anyways, so and like Bandcamp, it especially hits because like it was like one of those few places that like unknown artists could like put their stuff, put their music on and like hope to like gain good money from it possibly. And now it's like wonder what that's gonna look like.
It looks bad in the abstract. When I zoom in though, I'm curious because, like, in the way that I've lauded a lot of the individual steps Bungie has taken as a company lately, I kind of put Epic in a similar category. Like, for example, something else that happened this month: Fortnite Season 3 launched, and there were no ads for it. And people were like, why are they not hyping up their next season? Turns out it was about a war, and given the world right now, they were like, maybe we shouldn't make a big deal out of this. And so they launched the season quietly and are donating like billions of dollars of their proceeds to Ukraine. They've gotten much better about like Crunch It and Turtles. Like, of big games companies, Epic is one of the ones that I like hold a little more respect for. And I'm curious, is this going to be like Sony buying Bungie just to have the asset? Or are they going to, like, gut it and do something with it? And we just...
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. Epic has the Epic Game Store, and it's really good. It, like, gives
They're
the
very
developers...
pro-developer. Very pro-developer.
It gives the developers a better cut of the profits. It for the consumer, they're always, like, going, hey, here's the new free thing of the week or whatever. And, you know, it is a good service. But, like, here's the thing, though. They're still a multi-billion-dollar company. all that, treating the developers well, that's just so they can, because like Steam is such a ubiquitous thing, they need to make Epic Game Store seem worthwhile. But like, once they get their foothold, that will easily change. We've definitely seen it where like a company starts out great and doing great stuff, and then like, once they're making the money, once they've killed the competition, it's like, all right, time to turn into jackass mode.
Yeah, and I mean, I get, like, they're also the company that, like, fought Apple and won a little bit. But it's like, again, you're right, like, long-term, that doesn't mean anything. It's just, at our most cynical, we can look at that as good PR for them and move on. So it's just like, the lack of details around this is what's got me scratching my head. Yeah. Like, there's no, like when Sony bought Bungie, people were like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh yeah, they know how to make live service games. And that's all we're in this for. And I'm like, all right, that makes a lot of sense. How much of that is true? I got to take it at face value. But like, there was no letter of intent here. There was no clarification justifying it.
No, like all we got was like the update from Bandcamp and then dead silence. So like, who knows?
Yeah, we haven't heard anything else since. And it's a weird air for sure.
Doesn't make it sound voluntary, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, like I have this twinge of optimism, but like the feeling I feel is kind of like, I hope this optimism is justified, because this kind of feels bad on the surface. So.
I don't know how optimistic you can really be. Like, even when there's a good reason for a company to buy another thing, it's usually like, it's still symptomatic of a larger problem of all these things just consolidating. Like, even when it has good,
but like,
benefits or whatever.
Cynicism would look at the symptom and blame the person suffering from the symptom as well. I try not to do that necessarily, and like, try to treat the cause of the symptom, but also if something is symptomatic of it, don't judge it without considering the fact that it is just the problem is not totally based on the party, it is based on the system. So like, it makes sense that things are consolidating. I would like to think that this is entirely because that's just what the economy is right now, and not because there is some weird, nefarious, or potentially harmful thing at play. But I don't know. We don't know literally anything. So who knows?
We don't know anything, so we can only just guess. So moving on to the next bit of news. So a few months ago, I brought up that Advance Wars 1 and 2 are getting a remake on the Switch. And it was originally supposed to come out, what's the 8th month? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Okay, August 4th? Or, no. Yeah.
Yes, August is the 8th month.
It was originally supposed to come up on... it was originally supposed to come up on August 4th. Oh, wait, no, this is posted by Nintendo of Europe, so... March 8th. That's the thing that was tripping me up, because
gotcha. Oh, 4-8 or 8-4.
0804. Yeah. Anyways, so Advance Wars 1+2 reboot camp is getting delayed because in light of recent world events, aka the war in Ukraine. Because, Advance Wars is a game about war as in, like, tanks rolling in and bomber planes flying through the air and bombing soldiers, and soldiers are, like, occupying cities. All with, like, bright...
not a great look.
all with a bright, cheerful veneer. Because, like, the... style of Advance Wars isn't like grim and gritty. It's like just like kind of anime Saturday morning cartoon silliness kind of, and it definitely makes sense why they would want to like delay this, because maybe this isn't the best. This would be a little awkward with like what's going on in the world. Although I will say, there's always war going on in the world. I mean, what's happening in Ukraine is like a daily mundanity in like Palestine and Syria, but you know, I get what they're going for. Kind of sad because I was looking forward to it because like Advance Wars on the Game Boy Advance, fucking fantastic games. But
yeah,
the reason I bring it up is simply because it's such a funny bit of misfortune for the Advance Wars series. Because like, here's the thing: the original Advance Wars on the Game Boy Advance came out on September 10th, 2001, literally a day before 9/11.
Yeah.
So
no.
So like, man, this series can't catch a break.
Yeah.
Let's wait 20 years. Things will probably have cooled down by then, right?
I mean, it clearly didn't like affect their sales. They went on to have like Advance Wars 2, Days of Ruin, and the next thing I wanted to talk about is a video made by People Make Games, which just like called Investigating 3 Indie Superstars Accused of Emotional Abuse. And I won't go in detail. I think you should just watch the video. It's a good watch. But basically it just kind of looks at like some indie game developers. The first one was Ken Wong and like the various studios he made, and like he like cultivated a really shitty like work culture there. Next one is Steve Gaynor, same story. Had studios, was a shit who just made everyone's life there miserable. And Robin Hunick, and again made everyone's life shitty. And like, you know, where Ken Wong was like verbally abusive, just like telling everyone they suck and like tearing them apart even if they were like experts. And Robin Hunick, who would like literally like ask people about like personal shit and then like in public meetings tell everyone about like that personal shit, such as as one employee points out, like how one employee said, I'm kind of struggling with like my sexuality, and then she just went and told everyone in the studio that.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Yeah, and like it's like, you know, these are some pretty unclear case of like bullshit, and like what's eerie is how similar these stories are, right? Like you heard me explain these and it sounded kind of repetitive, right? Well, it is, but like the repetitiveness doesn't end there, you know? Like all three stories have like stories of like how all the employees got together and like talk to corporate and were like, hey, this person is a problem. You need to get rid of them. And then corporate would be like, okay, we hear you. We'll talk. And then cut to later, and they're like, okay, this person isn't leaving. You all gotta leave. And it's like,
silly oppressed workers. HR exists to protect the company.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, part of the problem, as the developers all point out, is the fact that because these are small indie studios, there isn't a dedicated HR to handle this shit.
Yeah, but hey, when you look at your monoliths like Activision Blizzard, at least you know that if you have more resources, things will go better.
Right. So I guess this is just to note that, you know, it's not just the big guys that are full of shit. You can end up in abusive studio systems, even in small, beloved indie games that make...
I'll admit, I didn't read it because it broke my heart just to see the headline, so I don't know the details, but apparently similar things are being said of people in Moon Studios, the work-from-home global studio, indie studio that made Ori and The Blind Forest and Ori and the Will-O-the-Wisps. And that's like, those games are so beautiful, and I'm just like, again, I'm usually pretty good about saying like, let me learn about this. That breaks my heart a little bit. And it's like, and they're not a big company.
I remember like starting the video, I'm like, oh, please, for love of God, don't let Supergiant be on this. Don't let Supergiant be on this.
Don't take Hades from me. Don't take Bastion from me.
Yeah, like, thank God, like, I'd be devastated if Supergiant turned out to be a toxic work environment.
Yeah,
as
man,
far as
I just
anyone
played
knows.
Tunic, and it's one of the best games I've played in my whole entire life. And now it's an indie game, so now I'm just like on edge, like, oh god, last time I fell in love with an indie like this, I got the Ori story, so don't do this to me.
I mean,
it's just like, it's everywhere. It sucks.
Yeah. I like, Hades
frankly,
is
and I'm not even directly affected by it.
And like, from like what developers who worked on Hades are saying, like, they really were. It sounded like Supergiant was dedicated to like making sure there wasn't crunch and that like the employees were like super healthy. So that's good to know. But you can never know what happens behind closed doors. So
that's the shit with celebrities and big companies is it's always in their best interest to look good. So when they look good, you can never 100% trust it, but you can trust it when they look bad.
Oh yeah. Next thing I wanted to talk about is an article released by Evan Minto on Anime News Network called "The Battle for Union Anime Dubs." In it, they talk about like the conditions that like actors who dub anime are in, and I on the Discord I showed you like a little quote about anime called Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen's English voice actors were likely paid just $150 to $600 each, based on the going rate in the industry.
What?
That's not a per hour rate. That's the total amount. That is just...
That's total?
That is the total amount. $100 to $600.
That's nothing. Are you kidding? For like how many lines? For like an entire character across a season of content?
Man. And like, it is mind-boggling. I'm thinking that's like per episode, but still, that's
still
like,
not a lot. Usually,
that's
like,
still not a lot.
Rate,
I make more money at a fucking convenience store than that.
The going rate for stuff like that is like a couple $100, like per minute or two of recorded like used dialogue, like or airtime or something like that. That is pitiful. Are you kidding me? Christ.
Since Crunchyroll and Funimation, like the two biggest powerhouses in like anime dubbing, have like merged into a single company under Sony, that's probably gonna get worse. Like this is something that goes back to like the beginnings of like anime dubbing, because it was such a afterthought and such a like a low budget thing in the beginning. It's just something that like it's just a problem that festered, and which is why union for dubbing is kind of being fought for right now. And and it's important to note that like this can be very strenuous. Dubbing can be very strenuous for the actor, because there's a lot of yelling and a lot of like a lot of dialogue that's being recorded, and there's no hazard pay for that. So like people will like permanently damage their vocal cords or doing this. It's voice acting is such a competitive industry. It's just a problem that's like stayed a problem, and I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna get better anytime soon. Who knows?
Yeah, that's just wild, because that's literally probably like, I mean, for some of the characters who have more dialogue, I would imagine that's like fucking less than minimum wage, right? I don't know how long it takes people to record, fucking dialogue for well, really anything, but I would assume that it's more than amounting to $150 if you spend enough time doing it.
Yeah, no, like for the Jujutsu Kaisen example, like that is a very popular anime, and the fact that the actors get paid chump change is like ridiculous, because like look over to like live action, and like actors get like royalties for their work.
Yeah,
but like here it's a flat rate, and it could be like a worldwide phenomenon, and you still got paid pennies. Next thing I want to talk about is was announced like literally earlier this morning, but like Nintendo like put a video out talking about the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel, and they're like, hey, remember when we said this was going to be released sometime in 2022, and we all assumed, okay, probably holiday season 2022, and they're like, sorry guys, we're going to release it spring 2023, and everyone's reaction was, yeah, we kind of knew, like, this is very normal for Nintendo.
Nobody was surprised by this, and I think this sense of the issue was definitely made clearer by the fact that the bit of game footage they did show in this was the same game footage they showed like a year ago when they had.
I mean, there was some new stuff in there. Like, we got to see a little bit of like, oh, the Master Sword has like been destroyed somehow. Wonder what that's all about. And like they explained that like the scope of the game is so huge. Like, you're not just exploring the land. There's like sky that you're exploring and new encounters. They were kind of vague, but like, this is kind of normal for Nintendo, who like their development turnarounds are very slow like molasses, because they really like to polish things to a fine shine. They really like to like iterate and then reiterate and just take their time. So like, unlike a case like, say, Cyberpunk 2077, where like all those delays were due to like really terrible management and really terrible planning, and like
same with Halo Infinite.
Same with Halo Infinite, where like the entire development from like start to the end of every single delay was just nonstop crunch. Nintendo doesn't really do that. This is more just them being crazy perfectionists who just prefer to delay rather than put out incomplete product. So
also,
which is better.
as gamers, as gamers, I think we've gotten extraordinarily accustomed to this, especially over the last year or two. Just nothing. I can't think of a single game that came out on its release date and was good quality. It hasn't happened in years. Everything gets pushed or everything comes out broken.
Exactly.
That's
so,
it. And honestly, I'm fine with it, because I'll tell you what, I've been getting a lot of great fucking games lately that are worth the wait. So if it protects the employees and it allows them to execute on their vision, I think that is a win. I would like to assume that is what's happening.
I feel like they should just like wait till the shit is actually closer to actually being done before announcing it, because I feel like if that's such a trend of like, stuff doesn't come out on release, it's just like, well, why don't you just announce it later?
There's always work to be done. Like, you will always like be like, no, this thing needs work, or we can make this thing better. Like at some point you could work on a thing forever if you wanted to, but like.
Famously, Fez took like years and years to come out because the guy announced it because the game was close to being done, and like 11th hour, the developer was like, I don't like this, and he redesigned every single visual asset in the entire game because it didn't meet his standards. The last time I can think of like a big developer like banging the announcement and the release was Fallout 76 from Bethesda. That didn't go great, and they did wait until they were ready to launch the game.
A garbage
so
fire.
It's just so much more. I agree with you on the surface. The reality is more complicated than I think all the three of us really know.
Last thing I wanted to talk about is Chris Rock getting slapped by Will Smith at the Oscars.
I feel like that event has gone through my system so fully. I can't believe it was less than 48 hours ago as of this recording. It feels it's like I've lived with this for years.
I know. I'm already sick of hearing about it.
Being on Twitter has been such a goddamn roller coaster. It's been, as someone who has no points to make, no opinions to share on this, the discourse has been entertaining.
Yeah. But and like, you know, there's not much to talk about the initial moment, you know, like Chris Rock was like making fun of like Jada Pinkett Smith's autoimmune disease that she has, and
alopecia.
Will Smith was like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna just go up on stage and slap him.
Well, crucially, Will Smith was laughing very hard, and then he saw that Jada Pinkett Smith was upset. Another person on a very public stage.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the worst thing to happen on at the Oscars. I mean, you know, like people point out, you know, there was a time when like John Wayne had to get held back by 6 people because he was about to beat up a Native American woman who just had the nerve to go.
What I will say to those people is, who of us enjoying this moment on Twitter, hating this moment on Twitter, whatever your feelings are about this moment, on or off Twitter, who of us were watching John Wayne at the Oscars? Who of us were alive when that was a thing?
Yeah.
This is our John Wayne getting held back at the Oscars, damn it. And I will contemplate it.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But, you know, it's like something everyone knows at this point. And like by April 1st, everyone will have talked it to death. What I don't think enough people know about is how Chris Rock reacted afterwards. See, like, he was fuming after that, and like, in his rage, he announced that he is going to start a fighting tournament, and like, he challenged Will Smith to fight through the ranks of the fighting tournament and make it to the top.
You're so full of shit.
He will 1v1 Will Smith. According to Chris Rock, and I quote, "I have rescinded my humanity and gained the powers of a vampire. Meet me in the finals, and we will finally settle this," says Chris Rock. And so now Will Smith is learning kung fu, and yeah, you know, this fighting tournament between the rich, this is gonna be an interesting thing.
If only.
Yeah, I mean, look, I will pay good money to see like a bunch of rich assholes just get into slap fights. So
they fucking already do that with the Paul brothers.
Oh man.
Wait, what'd you say, Jeff?
I said they fucking already do that with with Jake Paul fucking getting into fights with other YouTubers and then doing pay-per-view.
Oh, right, the boxing match thing. I mean, yeah, but these are like real celebrities getting into kung fu fights, you know? And like, you know, apparently Chris Rock is saying apparently Chris Rock is saying he's become a vampire now, so I guess vampires are real now too.
Where does the bit end? I can't. Every time I think we've hit the bottom of the bit, Chowder drags me deeper into the depths.
But yeah, that's alive. That's all I have to say.
All right. Is it? I guess we'll find out. Let's move on to the rating section. The part of the show where we, as an editor's room, review the stories that we all for the month and try to figure out which one is the hottest headline, the top story. You're gonna walk away remembering only one bit of information. What is it gonna be? What's worth your time? There's some other stuff we didn't cover. Sony announced like their more Game Pass competitive subscription service. I mentioned Tunic came out. I don't know. I feel like there are a lot of things that we sort of left on the table. Those aren't the things we're analyzing. We're trying to figure out of our stories, all of our completely true stories, our believable stories that nobody can question or challenge. I bet. Can you guys guess which of my stories was fake?
All of them?
None of them. Like I said, low effort. I've failed both of you, and you've both shown me up big time in this episode. All of my stories were true and somehow less interesting than your fake ones. So that's a fucking...
Well, yeah, if you fucking made up boring-ass, real-sounding stories, then what was the fucking fun of that?
The Star Trek 4 cameo sounds like it could have been made up. If you had told me that was happening 2 weeks ago, I would have been like, that's stupid. But it's so small in impact compared to Vampire Chris Rock, Rich Tournament challenging, Kung Fu trainee Will Smith. So I feel like
sex toys.
Or Transformer sex toys, which is incredible. The tastefulness of that bit was that you did not say that they're making Transformer sex toys. You said they're making marketing decisions that could imply that they're sex toys. And I think that was the perfect level of subterfuge.
No, you legitimately got me there, Jeff. Kudos.
All of my training from those fucking real or fake videos has brought me here.
So I guess if we're going to nominate top stories, try to figure out what we think the biggest story is. I'm coming up a little short. I don't think anything jumped out to me as like broad, so I might end up going with something that just strikes me personally.
I mean, speaking of striking people personally, I feel like the obvious choice is Will Smith punching Chris Rock in the face, but
that's pop culture news more than like geek news.
Yeah, I really want to push against this being important because people are talking about it so much, and like, yeah, it's assault, sure, and yeah, he made a bad joke, sure, but neither of those actions are anywhere on the level of, like, things that celebrities regularly get away with. Like, why are we fucking talking about this more than the fact that Kanye is, like, stalking Kim Kardashian? Like, why
This is admittedly a show that tries to recapture the feeling of what it was like for us to all be in a room talking about this shit together. And something I learned from all our time doing that is that we can string out a single pointless topic, Yoda being blue, for as long as humanly possible, just because there are minute differences in our opinions, and we want those differences heard and acknowledged, maybe even challenged, and that creates a crucible of conversation that can go ad nauseum. We are seeing that on a macro scale, not because this is important, but because it is unexpected and it is visible, and everybody wants their opinion heard, or everybody wants to make fun of people wanting their opinion heard, and it is a cycle that's going to be going for a long time.
This is also just dramatic and like the fun kind of drama where it's like, oh my god, shit's going down. Let me grab some popcorn.
It's the fun kind of drama where, like,
astounding.
You know, the fun kind of drama where it's just like, oh, these people are getting into a petty fight, and not the kind of drama that's just like, oh, this person is like fucking owns a sex island and that's horrible, and you know what I mean? Like, the usual kind of celebrity scandals are like really, really concerning issues that get dropped way too quickly and there aren't any consequences, whereas this is just like, he punched him in the face. That's the kind of shit I don't approve of that I can get behind. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man,
like, I have less of a problem with Will Smith slapping fucking Chris Rock than I do with Will Smith probably being a Scientologist. So like,
that's
it's
fair.
Not, Will Smith himself isn't a Scientologist. It's his wife who's the Scientologist.
That's bad enough, honestly.
That's like, bad enough. But like,
that might explain why she looked that way in Matrix 4.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the CGI on her
point,
face,
the point of this shouldn't be, oh, the reason we're not picking this thing is because people just want to talk about it a lot. Also, here's all of our opinions on this thing. In terms of actual stories, I don't know, man.
It really wasn't a big month. I'm tempted to just say, listen, guys, Tunic is it's on Game Pass. It's $30 otherwise. It is like a Zelda Souls-like combo that is so much deeper than you'd ever think. After like if you play an hour of it, you'll be like, I get what this game is, and there's just so much to it. I might honestly just go with the recommendation of fucking play that game, because all the news this month hits me a lot softer than Tunic did.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I think that the biggest story is probably Epic acquiring Bandcamp. That's probably where I'm gonna land.
Yeah, I guess if we're going off a story and like an actual news beat, I think you're probably right. It feels weird to say it just because the scope is unknown. Like, we don't really know what it means yet, and I think that's foreboding. It feels like a dark cloud.
Yeah.
I would support you on that.
Yeah, I'll give Tunic a try at some point, but right now I'm already stuck in the middle of in middle of another Soulsborne Zelda type thing in Elden Ring. So like,
Elden Ring, gotcha. Okay,
yeah,
that makes sense. You're gonna be there probably for a while then. I'm
yeah,
guessing.
A long while. There's a lot to that game.
Yeah.
But me, what I'd have to go on for like the most important bit of news for this month is something we didn't even talk about. The fuzzy Xbox controllers they're coming out with to promote Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
I entered the sweepstakes to try to get that shit. I need to protect the world.
Like, oh my god,
I have
nobody
should have even heard of this.
That.
They're like barfing into my
Xbox
eyes.
is doing. They're doing a sweepstakes partnered with the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie, as a promo.
Fuck off. That made it so much worse, that piece of detail.
Yeah, and it comes with it's a custom styled Xbox, and this sounds like an April Fool's joke. This is real.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you guys fucking DMing each other to get back at me?
No, it's an Xbox Series S that looks kind of nice with some Sonic stuff on it, and it has a red controller and a blue controller, and they are covered in what looks like 1.5 inch long, like soft synthetic fur.
Oh my god.
Games controllers covered in fur.
Oh my god, it is like ugly as sin.
Do you
it's
know
incredible.
the lengths I go to keep my flat, matte, non-furry controllers free of like food and debris and things like that? Rebecca gets so mad at me when we do play games together because she'll bring a snack and I'm like, you don't snack with these controllers. What the hell is your problem? And you want to put fur on it? What is wrong with you? It made me nauseous. I didn't like looking at it.
Like, they're
just
so
Googled
fucking
this
gaudy.
to make sure
it's
you guys
incredible.
aren't bullshitting me. That's fucked up.
It is so upsetting, Jeff, and you're gonna be upset when you realize
No, this is real, Jeff. I shit you not.
Yeah, no, I see the images.
It looks bad.
I feel like,
oh my god,
I don't know.
Like,
I'm open to the
circles around to being
experience, but I can see it being very bad.
Circles back around to being incredible.
Okay, speaking of someone who has I needed to buy a different material yoga mat. My hands get so sweaty. These controllers seem like a nightmare to me.
Yeah, it'd just be like
I have sweaty
sticky
hands
sponge.
too. Like, god.
Yeah, dude.
Like, I guess the benefit is no one could notice it because they're so furry.
I mean, let's fucking be real here. You fucking get this shit and you put it on a shelf as a novelty. You don't actually use it.
Here's the thing. I hope that that's what happens. I'm worried that someone's going to stick it up their butt.
Oh, well,
What? I don't know, man. This controller screams lack of control on so many levels that, do you know how many people
a controller
in both
that
these companies
screams lack of controller? Now that is some irony right there.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, I don't mean this completely derogatorily. I don't. But this went through so many people to get made, to get conceived, pitched, approved, designed, produced, marketed, and soon to be distributed. It seems like there might just be 2 of these that they're going to make, but we don't know how deep this is going to go. And I'm just like,
what if it's the best ergonomic
are they
experience
trying to
you've ever
upset
had,
me?
though?
Are they trying to upset people? What are they doing? What are they doing?
So
I want to touch him, and then I want to throw him out. I don't like it. Talking about it makes me physically upset.
Like, I want to get them just for the novelty of what the fuck is this hideous thing? But yeah,
right. It's I need to experience it, but I want it to never happen. That about wraps it up. Our top story is the Epic Games buying Bandcamp. I'm gonna go be angry about fuzzy game controllers for a while now. I've been Colin Ketchen. You can find me. I'm doing some more freelance and production shit, so you can actually find me at colinketchen.com because I'm a big boy now.
You have a website.
I have a whole website. I built it myself using tools that did most of the work for me.
I gotta see this website.
It's not an entertaining website. It's for people that want to pay me money. A thing that Jeff will
it's not
never
entertaining.
ever do.
It's about you.
You made an enemy today.
Hi,
top to bottom.
I've been Prankmaster Jeff Leavitt. I'm here to prank Colin and whirl insults at him. If you want to find me, I do a toy review YouTube channel. and that's called Alchemist Prime Reviews. And if you're at all interested in the legitimate BotBots news that I had for today, I did a whole video, which is doing much better than my usual videos, kind of breaking down all of that. So if that interested you, you can check that out. But yeah, that's been me.
Hi, I'm Taeemul Chowdhury, or Chowder, whichever you prefer. You can find me on my Twitter at Taeemul_Chowder. You can also find me on our sister podcast, Dice Populi, where I'm running the current story arc, and it is getting to the end. Like, we just finished recording the last thing.
We finished recording it. We did it. We made it. We got there.
Yeah. Oh, goddamn time. This fucking arc has lasted forever.
It's been a minute. I'm very pleased with the journey.
I got a little bit ambitious with this arc, so maybe I could have planned that out to be a little shorter, but there we go. Yeah, check it out.
Cool. So that's really about it. In 2 weeks, we'll be back with another book club episode. I believe you will be discussing. We
possibly
discussed,
Batman. Although I kind of want to talk about something else because I feel like Batman's going to be out of the public consciousness by the time the next episode comes out.
There's no harm in discussing it. I think my thing about it is I have almost no feelings on that movie. So
listen, I'm happy to talk about something else. The original point of the show is to talk about things we wanted to share with each other, not necessarily the newest thing. But no one ever wants to do the episodes that I suggest are about old things.
I mean,
it's so much easier to come up with topics.
Do you have something you want to do? Definitely
I have no idea. The bigger point is just it's easier to come up with topics when it's new shit, not the.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, I guess this podcast has turned into us planning the next podcast. So let's jump out of the call right now. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Thank you so much, and goodbye. Goodbye, guys.
All right. Ciao.
Fools.
This episode of the Common Geeking Program was hosted by Colin Ketchen, joined this episode by Jeff Leavitt and Taeemul Chowdhury. The Common Geeking Program was created by Colin Ketchen and Jeff Leavitt, with music by Colin Ketchen. This episode was edited by me, Taeemul Chowdhury. This episode was brought to you by April Fools, making fools out of all of us. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Common Geeking Program. Remember to like, comment, and share. It makes us feel good. If you would like to know more about the Common Geeking Program, follow us on Twitter at Geeking Program, or go to our website, commongeekingprogram.com. Stay in touch, stay tuned, and as always, thank you for listening to this podcast.
April Fool's Day.